next roster update with upgrades and downgrades of player attributes is coming June 2nd. In this video, we will discuss my personal favorite picks that bring value to you if you invest right now. There are going to be names that I miss out. For example, Randy Arozarena. I think he has a good chance of going diamond, but I am not going to include him in here if I do not see you making a great amount of stubs from investing in him at his current price. We will also be coming out with a video on Tuesday with the finalized version of the overall predictions that I have for each player. We've got ourselves 10 new players inside of this video, and then the 10 players from the last video, which I will go ahead and double down on. Before we jump into it, make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, notification bell, aiming for 30,000 subscribers before the start of June, and check out the description. Our Twitch link is there as well. Since the 12th of May, which was the previous roster update, YORDAN ALVAREZ has been hitting 318 and has an ISO of 364. He is an 85 overall. I could see them slightly increasing his contact and power versus left, as well as contact versus right and power versus right. Right now, my predicted overall for him is an 86 overall, but I could easily see it going back up to an 87, which is what I believe he started off the game cycle at. He is currently selling for 3,855 and 3,111. My maximum buy price here would be 3,250. Just in case he only gets that one jump, you go ahead and quick sell him for 500 stubs per YORDAN ALVAREZ that you purchase. George Springer has been hitting 351 with an ISO of 246 since the last roster update. At an 81 overall, I see his contact and power versus right being what's really emphasized on and getting upgraded. I see a substantial boost coming, therefore pushing him up to an 83 overall. At an 83 overall, his quick sell price is 1,200 stubs. Currently selling for 682, 636. I would go ahead and purchase him up to 800 stubs. Juan Soto has been hitting 295 with an ISO of 341 since the last roster update. He has finally woken up. The most important stat to look at is what he's done against lefties, and he's finally beginning to rake against lefties once again. So I see his left-handed attributes actually being increased, and I could see them being increased enough to make him a diamond at an 85 overall, or just slightly to put him at an 84 overall. He's currently selling for 2.2k to 1.8k. I would go ahead and invest in him up to 2,250 stubs, because even if he does go diamond, he's not necessarily a player you want to sell off at the quick sell value, but instead hold on to, because if he continues to stay this hot and it progresses throughout the season, then he could easily go back to high tier diamond, which he once was. Julio Rodriguez since the 12th has been hitting 304 with an ISO of 196. I could see very slightly his clutch, contact and power versus left, and power versus right being increased, putting him back to an 83, 84 overall, right on the verge of diamond. With his current numbers, I don't think they give him diamond yet. But with that being said, he's currently selling for 1,190 to 929. I am not fully confident that he's going to get that 83, 84 overall jump. They might wait another 3 weeks in order to either give him that jump or make him a diamond again if he continues this performance. So this is someone that I would still recommend buying at and holding long term for a maximum buy price of 1,000 stubs. Tommy Edman since the 12th has been hitting 367 with an ISO of 224. I could see his clutch and then his contact and power versus right being increased, while he loses some contact and power versus left. I see him going diamond, although I have him at an 85 to 86 overall. His current buy now sell now is 1,989 to 1,602. I would buy him up to 2,000 stubs. Our Ali is currently hitting 308 with an ISO of 256. I see all his hitting attributes going up. Even if it is slightly at some categories, I see all of them going up. I see him going up to a minimum of an 81 overall. His current buy now sell now is 260, 235. I would buy him up to 300 stubs. Bryson Stott since the 12th has been hitting 346 with an ISO of 212. Bryson Stott should get his clutch increased slightly, as well as his contact and power numbers against both sides. I have him at a 79 overall predicted overall. My max buy price with him would be 125 stubs, and considering he's selling for 150.87, this is a great time to invest in someone that would be more of a long-term investment because he definitely has that gold potential. We finally got ourselves some pitchers inside of the roster update predictions because they've had more outings. If it's 1 or 2 weeks, we don't have enough outings to actually analyze and say whether or not their attributes could be increased. Michael Kopech is going to be the pitcher we start off with. Since the 12th, he has pitched 19.2 innings. He has only given up 4 hits, while he has struck out 24 hitters. Michael Kopech has also only walked 7 hitters, which is a ton, but his hit per 9 and his K per 9 should definitely look to be increased, and he has not given up a home run in those 19.2 innings. So despite his walk per 9 maybe taking a little bit of a hit, I do see him going up to a 76, 77 overall. This is going to be someone else that is more of a long-term investment. I would invest in him up to 75 stubs, and I would hold for gold despite him being upgraded, especially if he continues with this current performance. Since the 12th, Hunter Brown has 18.2 innings pitched. He's allowed 16 hits, but he's struck out 27 hitters, which is a crazy amount, while only allowing 2 walks, but he's given up 3 home runs. So I can't go ahead and give him everything like I did for Michael Kopech. Instead, I would give him K per 9 being increased, and I'd give him his walk per 9 being increased as well. I see him going up to a 77, 78 overall. I'd buy him up to 125 stubs currently, but this is someone else that you want to hold on to because he could easily hit gold since he doesn't have a 3-year average. Ryan Pressly is our final new player. He has 5 innings pitched during this period, and inside of this period he's only given up 2 hits while not giving up any home runs or any walks, and he's struck out 7 hitters. So I could see everything slightly being increased for Ryan Pressly. I have him going up to an 82 overall. He's currently selling for close to quick sell value, so I am investing in him up to 450 stubs. At an 82 overall, he sells for 900 stubs, so it's a great chance to have a over 100% ROI. Going to the core 10, we start off with Freddie Freeman. Since the 12th, he's hitting 436 with an ISO of 327. I can see his clutch, and then both his contact against both sides and power being increased. I see him going up to an 88 overall. At an 88 overall, his quick sell value is 5,500 stubs. I'd invest in him currently up to 3,500 stubs. Adolis Garcia, since the 12th, has been hitting 255 with an ISO of 383. So yes, the contact numbers don't look too great, but what we're really looking at is his numbers against left-handers, which have increased greatly. So I see his clutch being slightly increased. I see his contact and power versus left-handers being increased, while the contact versus right is going to take a bit of a hit. With that being said, depending on how big of a hit they bring to his contact versus right, I have him going up to a conservative 88 overall. If you are investing in him, you should never be investing in him at a price higher than 4,500 stubs. If you even go to 4,550, I would say that's going a little bit too high because he is always dropping back down despite the hype that he has built around him. You are going to be making a 1K profit if he does go up to an 88. I don't see him being downgraded from an 87 currently. Since the 12th, Seiya Suzuki has been hitting 357 with an ISO of 452, so his power numbers are through the roof. I see his clutch being upgraded and his contact and power versus right, seeing him go up to a 77 overall. He is at a quick sell value of 100 stubs at a 77 overall. Once again, this is someone that I would go ahead and hold on to long term when I'm investing into him because he has a chance to go all the way up to gold. I'd buy him up to 125 stubs currently. Anthony Rizzo, since the 12th, has been hitting 327 with an ISO of 327 as well, which is pretty funny, but I see his clutch going up and I see his contact and power versus right going up, pushing him up to an 83 overall. At an 83 overall, his quick sell value will be 1,200 stubs. So I would invest in Anthony Rizzo up to 800 stubs. Ezekiel Duran has been placed on the IL list. That's why his price has tanked, but he is still a good investment long term. Since the 12th, he was hitting 324 with an ISO of 351. If he did not get injured, I could see his clutch going up as well as all his numbers when it comes to contact and power against both sides. I had him going up to a 76 overall. At his price currently, I'd invest in him up to 50 stubs. And at my predicted overall, his quick sell value is 100 stubs. So usually the times players are injured are the best times to invest, especially if they come back off of the IL hot. A good example of this is going to be Corey Seager. I had him in my first ever roster update predictions video when he was quick selling for 600 stubs. I told you all, hey, invest a ton into Corey Seager because when he comes back, he has a great chance of coming back hot and also being upgraded all the way to diamond. So I hope a lot of you guys took advantage of that because he is still a long-term hold for diamond, and if you got into him at 600 stubs, you should be already seeing profits if you wanted to sell. STOTT since the 12 has been hitting 281 with an ISO of 105. I see his clutch being increased and his contact and power versus left pushing him to a 78 overall. The maximum I would buy him at is 100 stubs, and the quick sell value at a 78 overall is 125 stubs. I'm telling you all, if he starts slugging just a little bit more, getting some more extra base hits, there's a great chance that he could go all the way up to gold. NATHANIEL LOWE since the 12 has been hitting 367 with an ISO of 163, so his power numbers are a little bit down. I could see the clutch still being increased despite being 104, and I could see his contact numbers against both sides being increased, as well as his power versus right, pushing him to an 81 overall. At an 81 overall, his quick sell value is 600 stubs. I'd invest in him up to 300 stubs. ALVAREZ since the 12 is hitting 316 with an ISO of 263. At a 78 overall, I can see his clutch going up, and then his contact and power versus right going up as well, pushing him to an 80 overall. The maximum I'd buy him at is 200 stubs, and you'd be able to basically double your investment because the quick sell value at an 80 overall is 400 stubs. Jose Siri is very tricky, but Jose Siri since the 12th has been hitting 333 with an ISO of 487. So clearly both those contact and power numbers are through the roof. I could see his clutch going up, his contact and power versus right, and then his power versus left also going up. He doesn't have enough at-bats to really take into consideration his contact versus left, but he's hit 2 home runs against left-handed pitchers, so that's why I'm giving him the power versus left. He could go up from a 78 overall to an 80 overall. It just depends how generous SDS is, because he already has max fielding, max arm strength, and max reaction if you really take a blind look at it. They're all above 90, and then he has 99 speed as well. So any slight increases to his contact or power numbers is going to give him a humongous jump. So this is probably one of the sneakiest investments that could make the jump all the way from silver to gold. I'd invest in him up to 200 stubs. Last but not least is going to be Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan has 17 innings pitched. In those 17 innings pitched, he's given up 17 hits, and he has himself 23 strikeouts while walking 4 hitters, and he hasn't given up a home run just yet. So his pitching clutch is going to go up because he's amazing with runners in scoring position so far. His K per 9 should go up as well, and his home run per 9 should go up. But these numbers would probably go up slightly. Therefore, I have him at an 86 overall, pushing him up to 3,750. If he has another good outing whenever it's his next outing, that might push him up to an 87 overall. So I would not purchase him for higher than 3,000 stubs. He's very similar to Adolis Garcia. If you're putting him for 3,050, that's gonna be a little too much. I would go ahead and push him probably all the way up to 3,010. The same thing with Adolis Garcia, but you don't want to start going to 31,000 or anything higher than that. Last thing I want to say is, if I don't respond to your comment asking me, do I think this player is going to get an upgrade, is because if I respond to you, then I feel obliged to respond to everyone else just to not show any special treatment. So therefore, I will not respond to any of the comments. The only comments that I will be responding to is if you are a member of the YouTube channel, which there is a link inside the description. I will go ahead and respond to you and give you a quick little analysis of whether or not that player is going to get upgraded. Nonetheless, have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed. Hit that like button or subscribe button, notification bell. Check out the description for the Twitch and more links. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.